So in today's video, we're going to talk about futures. We're also going to talk about async, and we're also going to talk about await. And essentially, what these three keywords actually help us do is to be able to manage things within our function that are yet to happen in a sense. So the way you should see futures is like your weather. If you get the weather forecast today, you need to know, okay, when is it going to rain, or how the weather is going to be the following day. That's what the weather forecast actually like gives you, and you as a person then decide how you actually like handle that particular situation. So if they say it's going to be sunny and maybe you are scared of getting sunburn, maybe you might go out with the umbrella, or you might just use a sunscreen so that you actually protect your skin. Or if they say it's going to be raining, you also go out with your umbrella or a raincoat so that you don't actually get yourself wet while you're actually out. Or you also get the sweater so that you can keep yourself warm while when you go out and if the weather gets too cold while you're out. So that was what it's like for functions that are actually futures. There are things that the functions handle things that are yet to happen or things that are going to happen but they have never happened. That's essentially what is a future to do. Then async is short for asynchronous. So if you can spell the word, so async, yeah, as, sync, okay, yeah, chronos. So that's what it's actually short for. And when you say a function is asynchronous, it means that it allows things to happen in sequence within the function itself. So if you actually like look at this function, you see something like print, then you see something like this, and you see this one that says await, and you also see this one that says return name. And essentially we have a synchronous function and we also have a synchronous function. A synchronous function follows line by line. So it's when you run a synchronous function, it comes down here first, then it does this, then it comes down here, then it does this, and it comes down here, then it does this. But being that it is asynchronous, it means that if this stuff has not actually happened and the function says that there are other things it could actually like handle, the function actually like handles those stuff and leaves out this particular one that is actually maybe delaying something like that. It just does every other thing while it's waiting for one particular, sorry, while it's waiting for maybe this particular line of code to actually like run. So it handles every other thing. But you actually like notice that in previous functions we've actually like written, example, this one, these functions are functions that when you just give them a particular input, they just give you an output almost immediately. But something like this, it's actually like going to follow like the way it is actually designed in that, meaning that it is going to be asynchronous, it's going to handle things a lot different. So the await keyword is what you use to tell the function that it should not let the function run any other code. It should not let the function run any other code after this unless this has actually completed. So remember I said that once the function is asynchronous, you can have it do this, then maybe when this completes, it then does this too. But now if I put this await keyword here, it is going to run this, then it will have to wait for this to finish running. Then after this has finished running, then it is now going to go to the next line and then do the very next thing after this. So essentially, the these three keywords actually like help us when we're actually like building big Flutter apps, because sometimes in Flutter you will need a function that is going to be a feature and is going to be asynchronous, and there are some things you just have to wait for to happen before you can actually like do any other thing. And we are going to see it in the course that actually like handles API calls. But essentially currently what we have is this. And I'm going to demo the different ways this function is actually going to behave. So first of all, I'm actually going to show you what this function behaves like, and I'm going to show you how this is different from this. Even though these two functions are alike. But this one is a future. This is just a simple string function. This is a future of string, and it also returns the same thing as this one. But this also has a feature dot delayed in it, and feature dot delayed just means you should delay this thing by a particular set period of time. I can set this to days. I can set it to more. I think up to months. Okay, I can set in months, but I can set in days. I can set in milliseconds, microseconds, minutes. Well, I'm currently using seconds, so we're going to go back to seconds. So that should just demo what this function behaves like. So in the void main method, we have a string with the value with the variable name with yeah, we have a string with the variable name and the value of Robert. So we're going to try and do this. Yeah. So we are calling this say name function, and we're calling the value that the say name function is going to hold the name, and the name is actually going to hold is this particular name this say name function is returning. And so we can actually like run this function and see what it's actually going to do. So to run a simple dart program, we use that example. Yeah, so this is the name of the class. This is the name of the dart file I want to run. This is it here too. Example underscore class with that. So if I do this, oh sorry, I'm supposed to do okay. Yeah, you could actually do that run. You do that run. Uh, it actually does the same thing. I skipped the run, but using only that actually runs the program for you. And you see that it's actually printing Robert for us, and it didn't delay. It just printed Robert and gave us back our terminal. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by give us back our terminal. So notice when it prints Robert, you just get back the terminal again. You just get this place back again. So now we are going to try and see what it looks like when you come to a function that is a future and is also asynchronous. So first of all, I'm going to show you what it looks like when you actually like are waiting. So currently we have this here, and we have this. We have the function print this particular line of code, and it just says function started, and we're going to say that it is going to do await for 1 second before it returns the name. And I'm also going to put something here to say function stopped. And the reason why I'm putting this print statement before the return is because in programming you can't actually like put a print statement after a return statement, because a return statement actually means the end of a function. So you can't end the function and still want to print something. So if I even try to put this under the return statement, you'll see that it's going to be an error. It's not going to notice it. If you look at it here, it's telling you that it is dead code, but this is actually valid code. So you can't put anything under a return statement. A return statement indicates the end of a function. So we're going to have it like this. And once I run this, yeah, if I run this now, you notice we are going to see function started. Then after 1 second, we are going to see function stopped. Then we're going to see the name Robert. So function started, function stopped, then you see the name Robert. So he had to just wait. He had to just wait for this to actually like run first before he could actually do another thing. Then now I'm going to show you what it looks like when you remove this await keyword here, and you just do this. And now you see it prints everything, then he waited 1 second before it actually gave us back our terminal. And also notice in this particular void main function, we made it asynchronous and we also made it to await. And why we are doing this currently is because if I remove this here now, you notice that we're going to have something like it's going to tell us that it got an instance of future of string. And what that essentially means is that that actually like understood what you told it to do, but you didn't tell it to wait to process what it actually like had seen. So it's like you didn't actually like get the complete news about what the weather is going to be like the following day. And maybe it was forecasted that you're going to be having heavy rains in 2 days time, and you felt, oh, maybe you didn't hear and you were like, oh, it's going to rain tomorrow, and you took your umbrellas out and it was actually sunny, and you're not like, oh, maybe the weather forecast was wrong or something, and you forgot your and you went back home that day, then the following day you go out again without your umbrella and it actually rains that day. You notice that you didn't give yourself time to process the whole information that was actually like given about the weather, and you find out that you just miss everything and you're actually beaten by the rain. So that is here telling you that, oh, you told it to get something but it didn't really process what you're telling it to get. So if I had this await keyword back here, then that now can now wait for the function to actually tell it what it needs. And essentially what the function is telling it to do is to print this. So if we run this again, we should then see that we should get function started, function stopped, then we get robot, then it gives us back our terminal. So I think that will be that for feature async and await.